Hey everybody, welcome back to another podcast of the T on Realty. I'm your host, Rachel. I'm a broker associate with Exit Real Estate Gallery. I was just calling, or not calling, I should say. Like I said, this is the T, so I keep it real. I'm just checking in because I know it's been a minute since I checked in and did a podcast, so I wanted to get back on doing that. I've been doing a lot of things for the organization, the nonprofit, so we're getting forward with doing that. So let me jump right into the tea. So this tea, I just want to talk about agents, I should say. That's what that BS. And we all know what BS is. And what I mean BS is, we know the market is really crazy and really fluctuant right now. So, we have a lot of customers that's ready to buy. Some of them can't right now. And it's basically because some of the houses, they keep getting outbid. So when they keep getting outbid, then they get discouraged and don't want to buy anymore. So this is the BS that we're dealing with. I know that I personally have been dealing with out here in the market today. So I had a customer who wanted to purchase some land or wants to purchase some land. So, as always, we always do our due diligence. We do our research on, is it buildable? Does it have a survey? How much acreage is it? Can it have water and sewer on it? Or can you build a house even on it? Just all those things come into part when you're trying to buy land. But so they we interested, and I reach out, of course, to the other agent what is listed with. I say, hey, I have a customer who's interested in this lot. Do you have a survey? Luckily, they did have a survey. Boom, he sent me the survey. Cool. So I sent it to my customer. He reviewed it and everything like that. I think we started this process maybe like on a Tuesday and a week. So my customer had already said that he wanted to do some research as far as being able to build, so me and the agent was conversing back and forth, via text message and everything, talking about just how the transaction was going to be playing out and just information about the land. So, of course, he was like, the land is buildable. You could put water in, the local utility company is able to put the water on the property. They're able to do everything that, your customer will want it to do. So, I said, okay, that's fine, Danny. But the customer that I have, he's always, he's going to double check, which that's our part, especially as an agent, is on the buyer side of the transaction, is we always want to make sure that we do our due diligence with our customers for help them out with some of the incidents on what we're doing. So with that being said, we always want to make sure that we are doing just that for our customers, that we are doing the due diligence that is required and that is needed. So with the due diligence is, I'm conversing back and forth. So then by Thursday, the agent like, hey, I got an offer in on the lot. I was like, dang. I was like, okay, I know my customer is not a rusher. So I said, well, okay. He was like, well, is your customer going to put an offer in? I was like, yeah, actually he is. He's going to put an offer in. So I reached out to my customer. I said, so he was still doing his research. He said he couldn't get a hold of the utility company and the city. At that time, it was just a big hold on the phone. And so he had to go to work. So that Friday came. And, I still asked my customer again, did you still want to interested in it? So he said this is what he would potentially want to offer if he put an offer in. So I reached out to the agent. I was like, hey, my customer going to offer this much. This was a Friday. I sent this off. So this is where I would say for me, Thursday is where the BS began because he knew we were interested in it. So I think Thursday he put that bug in my ear so I could maybe try to put the bug in my customer's ear that, someone else is interested. So put the rush on what you're doing. But that wasn't going to happen. So I told him what we was going to offer. He didn't say anything. So Saturday, or Friday evening, I drew up the offer and I sent it over to my customer, to have her review it, look at it, and, everything that he wanted me to add in, contingencies about the survey and building and all the utilities. Everything was in the contract. He worked in the afternoon. So, I knew that it would be late Friday before he could sign it. So, that way he get off from work, he could actually have time to look at it, and I put on the contract since I knew that he needed that time to review it, that by the time I knew he would get it back to me and I would get it to the agent, I think I put on there that they had to respond by that following Sunday, right? So Saturday rolls around. I ain't even gonna lie. I was out of town with my peoples. I was with my family. So, I'm very limited on what I do, but I try to do everything I can because most of my phone literally does almost everything that I really wanted to do. So I did that. So me and him talking to chat, and so he emailed me Saturday, the agent was like, hey, is your customer still gonna, submit it? So I said, yeah. I told him, I said, I'm just waiting on him to review it and sign it. He has to sign it and everything. And I said, make sure things are right. I said, he couldn't get a hold of the utility in the city on Friday, so he's gonna try again on Monday to get a hold of them and see the information that he wanted. As far as if the water could be, placed on the lot, and we had already got the portion about the survey that we sent a lot of wetland spots, so it wasn't on the part where we could build on or whatever. So we had got past that stage, but we just needed to confirm about the utilities and things, right? Because he was actually buying this house he was buying this lot for his daughter, and then she was going to build a house on it. So I understand what he wants to make sure that he's buying something for his daughter, that is something that she could actually use, and it'll be with the family. So this was Saturday. He was asking me about it. My head, I'm like, dang, I thought you said an offer. And I said, now he already knew what my offer was going to be. So he knew what our contingency was as far as waiting. So he texted me back, oh no, the water is fine. You can put water. We already researched it. I said, I understand what you're saying, sir. But my customer is going to make sure that he hears it for himself from the utility company and from the city zoning for the property. So we did that. And he was just kind of rushing us like, okay. So Sunday rolled by. My customer did sign the contract on Saturday afternoon while I'm doing my family, so I'm reaching out to him and, making sure he's asking me questions. I'm answering his questions about the contract. Because I don't know about other agents, but when I see somebody a contract to sign, I literally say, hey, call me so we can review this contract, because sometimes there's verbiage in there that they want you to put specifically, and that was something that he wasn't familiar with. He was like, oh, I thought I saw you put this in there about the utilities and the contingent upon this, and so as a good agent, as you should have a good agent that's willing to do this, that should know the contract anyways, and say, hey, go to page blah 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 in the contract, and there's the verbiage that you wanted me to put in there, and any other areas on the contract that they need clarity on. What I'm saying? You should always, or in your agent should always, don't just send, I would not just send somebody a contract to sign, say, hey, look at this. I would always say, hey, I'm going to send over this contract with you. I'm going to give you a call so we can review it. Right? Because your interpretation and my interpretation might be a little different. One, we are realtors. We're not lawyers. So we can't interpret a sales contract because we're not a certified, unless you are a bar attorney and a realtor, then you can do such thing. But I am not a lawyer, so I cannot interpret a contract. I can just reread what the contract says, right? That's what they told us in class. So that's just a practice I do. So anyway, my customer signed it. We got it back to the agent that Saturday because, like I said, even though I wrote the offer for him Friday, I knew that he was working and he had to do some things. And he actually bought him some new boots so he can walk the land. And it was really funny because he called me. My customer was like, "Hey, I walked the land." And he said, I only saw one snake. I was like, "Ooh, Lord!" I was like, I would have been hollering up for that, but he would have bought him some good boots because he really does his due diligence when he's searching because, like I said, he's minding for his daughter. So I sent it over to the agent Saturday evening after he was bugging me like literally all day. Did you send it? Did you send it? I didn't see it. Did you send it? I'm like, listen, my customer is going to take his time and he's going to send you this offer. He is not going to rush this. So with him not doing that, we sent over to him Sunday. We didn't hear anything from him. So late that Friday, he was like, oh no, Saturday, I'm sorry. The agent was like, the offer that he got was for the same offer that my customer, the amount was the same. So he was like, they're willing to close on Friday. So I was like, oh, okay. Well, my customer is not going to close on Friday at minimum because he hasn't found out his information that he needs to do for the land and being able to build. Now, this was early Saturday that he had messaged me about, the offer, because after I told him Friday what we were going to be offering as far as price-wise, and he kept bugging me all day Saturday. He was like, well, the other offer, they came in at the same price you guys came in, but they willing to close Friday. Is your customer willing to close on Friday? No, we're not. This is some more BS. That's what I'm saying. This is the BS. So later on that evening, or he calls me back, what I'm saying? So I text the guy back and I was like, listen, if you have another customer, you're the seller's agent, you represent the seller, you have an offer in front of you. You might have two offers in front of you. You're supposed to submit them both. Both offers could be for cash. I don't know what the other offer was for. Our offer was for cash, just, for reference. And so if you have another offer on the table, obviously it's a cash offer if they're willing to close on Friday, like you said, right? So if you have the exact same offer as far as amount goes, and they're willing to close way before our closing date, because we put on there 30 days, which you could close closer than that, but I like to do cash offers that way, and then we just close earlier. But he definitely was not going to close unless, and then I'll tell you, Saturday, he wasn't supposed to fall on Friday. No, we wasn't going to do that. So he messaged me back later on Saturday. I didn't even, after a certain time, I don't know about y'all, but as an agent, I cut other agents off, or people in general off after a certain time when they're talking about business. So, he could message me at 8 o'clock at night and I would not respond until the next day, because it just don't make no sense for you to be messaging me at 8 o'clock at night. Unless something don't burn down. But, so I didn't hear anything Sunday after I did finally submit the offer that he kept bugging us about. So I didn't hear anything Sunday, and I told my customer, give it to Monday, whatever, to find out. So Monday come, and my customer finally got a hold of the utilities and the city, the zoning. Oh, man, it was like, we glad we did our due diligence and we did not rush into anything, because my customer was like, oh, man, I finally got a hold of the city. He said, first of all, you can't even build a house on that lot. They said it's not zoned for it right now, and if it was zoned for it, and the only way you could build a house on it is if it was at least an acre. And because of the wetland spots around the portion of the survey, you can't expand that out to make it a full acre because of the wetlands. So therefore, one, it's not even zoned residential. Two, you can't even build a house even if you wanted to on it. Three, he did get a hold of the utility company, and they told him that, we could put the water in the but it's gonna be like a 20,000 gallon, 20,000 feet or 20,000 long distance away from where the water line would be able to connect to the property. Of course, that costs a lot of money. So I say BS. So in between him telling me this, I think it was, he did send me a message. The agent sent me a message on Sunday. It kept asking me like, oh, can your customer close? Now he done moved it. Now Friday and Saturday he told me, can my customer close that following Friday? Now between late Saturday and Sunday he was asking me, can my customer close on Thursday? Listen, you should see the message. I said, listen, like I said before, if you have a customer, I'm representing you as a seller's agent, and we have offers on the table. We got offers that's literally the same. The difference is this person can close faster than this person, but the terms are exactly the same. Who do you go with? The customer that literally can close fastest, right? So that's why I'm like, this man something ain't right. So anyways, after he tried to get us to go from Friday to Thursday, you got an offer. I'm like, hey, congratulations. So after I talked to my customer, and I didn't hear anything back from the other agent Sunday anyways about the offer that we had presented to him, that time period on the contract had already ended. So here we are, Monday afternoon, he calls me. Because he wants to talk now. He don't want to text. He's like, hey, what? I said, hold on. First of all, one, our contract time for y'all to respond is over. And two, he's not interested anyways, because we found out through the city and JA that you can't even build a house on this lot unless it's an acre. And it can't be extended to an acre because of the reasons of the wetland areas that's located. So, one, he would have an issue with zoning it. Two, he can't even put a house on it right now as is. Three, it's going to cost him way more money to put the water and the electricity line through it because of where it's located. Now, the prime is in a good prime location where this lot is, and that's probably why the company who's selling it jumped on it. They bought it for dirt cheap. You can always tell. They bought it for dirt cheap, and they thought to sell it. One thing they didn't do, though, was do their due diligence. They just thought that maybe they can get somebody to buy it blindly without doing any backup work. Now, the next person was going to be stuck with this piece of lot that you can't even build on. Now, if they want to take the time and actually change all these things over, which you ain't going to be able to expand the property anyways because of the wetland. So it's really a waste of nothing. It would take a corporation or a big building company to take over and buy more of areas around. Then they could build lakes around and do all this extra. But just for a person that wants to build a home there, it's a bit much to do all that. They can afford to do that. Big company can afford to do these things and wait this time process. But for a regular person that's trying to buy and build, I wouldn't waste it. But for me, the BS about the whole situation was the fact that, one, from Thursday when he said he was getting the offer in, I think he lied. He never was getting any offer in. He just wanted us to rush, because I feel like, one, he already knew that you couldn't do anything with this piece of lot. And he thought he had somebody that he could just kind of like semi-bully, like, oh, rush your customer. No. We're not going to rush my customer. My customer is going to take his time and do what he needs to do. So with him doing that, you know, it's a lot. So that's why I was like, you know, you got to be careful out here with agents that like to play BS games. Agents that, in other words, they'll put they'll say that they have, you know, like, a property been on the market for like 6 months. Now all of a sudden I'm interested in the showing. Now you got offers on it, you know. And I know sometimes it might be true, but sometimes I call BS. I call BS, especially if you going past certain things and hoops and conversating with me and you got all these offers in. Why are you conversating so much with me if you got all these other offers in? Because I feel like you ain't got all these offers in. Because you would have been reviewing them with your customer and you would have already, by the time I weighed out here at the bottom of the line, I'm sure maybe somebody else had already offered you $30,000, $40,000. That's why I be like, man, call BS. I be like, take your time, boo, because this is a transaction. And it's something that you're going to be getting for a while. So, you know, take your time. So I always tell, you know, this is me, an agent, talking to other agents. Don't let other agents bully you into doing stuff. And I, as an agent, would not lie and bully someone else into doing stuff. Everybody on both sides need to do their due diligence and making sure that a property is able to be bought and able to be sold. As a listing agent, I feel like I wouldn't take a listing if I didn't feel like that listing could be sold. And as a sales on the selling side, I would kind of do my own due diligence, especially when it comes to land, because I don't want to be looking like a boohoo fool out here listing something that can't. I'm telling you, I had one listing or a customer that was interested in the property, and we went and actually called the city. And I called the city too, and I always call like the backup to double check on things too. But I called, and guess what the lady said? Girl, you couldn't even step your foot on this lot. That's how big it is. I was like, what? She was like, yeah. I said, no wonder it was so dirt cheap. She said, it ain't even a size 12-foot shoe size. So, yeah, that part. So that's my tea on realty for today. Just be careful. Just be mindful on what you're doing. Just always make sure that you're following and you're doing things the way they should be done. Just do your due diligence. I'm telling you, do your due diligence. It is always going to help you out. I'm telling you, it can't get no better than that. So, with that being said, I just want to say thank you all for tuning in this week to the new episode of the Tea on Realty. Of course, I'm going to keep giving you the Tea on Realty as I always do. Keeping it real, because I want y'all to be able to keep it real out here when y'all buying, right? So, it won't be too much longer when I do another podcast. So y'all just keep looking out for me and keep sharing it and keep liking it, keep doing all that good stuff, because there's a lot going on out here. The market is getting stable, but I still say, for me, stable is you're still able to sell your house and get probably more than what you listed for. That's what I mean by stable. Stable for me at this point, stable is not it. You not being able to go overpriced for it. So just keep that in mind when you're doing stuff as far as when you're buying and selling right now. So just always remember that when you're buying and selling right now, it's things that are definitely worth looking at. I mean, I don't want to discourage anybody from buying anything that you really want and that you really want to get. Please get what you want to get, because you never know. And I always tell people, you don't have to go over list price. Start right there, because that's where they listed it at. You know, just because everyone else is going over, that doesn't mean that you have to go over. I mean, you know what I'm saying? So just keep that in mind. Do your due diligence. Keep doing what you're doing. If that's what your goal is, keep doing stuff with your credit. Keep getting all those things in line. Like I said, follow the Tea on Realty on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Here on YouTube, like and subscribe to the channel. As always, We are doing a lot of workshops. The nonprofit organization is doing a lot of workshops in the local library. So follow us and look in the libraries to see what library that we might be close to you, and share and be able to come in and check out one of our home buyers workshops and be able to learn a lot more and do what you really want to do. So be mindful of that. Thank you all for coming in. I really, 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 really appreciate it. Thank you so, so much. And I want to be able to say goodbye until our next video. Have a great week.